Let's stop this stall. Let's just focus on the next round, which is Celeste.
Indeed.
Alright, yo, what is up, Bingo Gamers? I'm here with Sushi. Please say hello.
I'll think about it.
Alright, so we have a pretty intense bingo game here. This is Lockout Bingo. The objective of this will be basically first to 13 goals, starting from a new file. And we've already looked at the card, so you can talk about that a little bit whenever it comes up.
No spoilers. You gotta wait till it comes up on stream.
Yeah. They're going to be revealing it 5 seconds into a countdown. The first segment of the game, the little prologue, part of the thing that we do is like a gentleman's rule for Lockout Bingo, is that you don't skip any of the cutscenes in that level. I assume they'll be doing that here, and that gives you time to actually review what you're doing, because after that, you have to already know what your game plan is going into the first chapter. It starts out really quickly, and once you can see it, I'll try to be explaining what we have on the board and like what it takes to unlock those things. That way you can get an idea of how they synergize and what their mentality is going into certain chapters and stuff. But you've got B-side goals, you've got berry goals, everything's on there.
Yeah, Celeste is a very peculiar game when it comes to the bingo in terms of when we think about bingos, we think of RPGs or nice platforming games with the main hub worlds. Celeste is extremely linear in its gameplay, so a lot of our bingo objectives are going to come from collectibles and or the B-sides. A very key thing that we will be bringing up throughout the match is that there's a quirk in the game's kind of programming, I guess would say, not really programming, but if you beat a B-side, you will unlock the next chapter's A-side. So normally, when you complete the game for the first time, you complete all the A-sides, which are the easier story-driven versions of the levels. But you can unlock the harder B-side versions of the levels, which will show up on the board, as you can see has now been revealed. And if you complete the B-side, you will have the same progress as if you completed the A-side. So we'll see our runners probably use that to get progress as well as completing their objectives. But I think without further ado, we should start some bingo up. What do we think?
All right, I'm going to ask if they're ready. All right. I'm going to start from 10, revealing on 5.
And yeah, I just want to say this is the first Lockout Bingo of the marathon. It's still young. I believe we do have some more Lockout Bingo to go, but the general format of Lockout Bingo is that if you get a square, your opponent cannot get that square. So the goal is actually not to form a bingo line or a bingo diagonal. The goal is to get 13 squares, because you just want to get more squares than your opponent. So we're definitely going to see plays come in here as if OddBod gets an objective that Marlon was going for, Marlon will no longer attempt to get that objective as it is now considered void. There's nothing he can gain from attempting it. So.
All right. So right now, what they're doing, the movement here is very basic. So they're probably just eyeballing the card on their over monitor or whatever they're looking at. And so we should go ahead and start talking about what we've got going on here. So immediately after this, they're going to be entering into Chapter 1, 1A, Forsaken City. Immediately off the bat, you do have, Blue and Red Heart in Forsaken City. That is something that's pretty early, but going for goals like that at the start gives you a big loss in progress, which progress is like how many chapters you have unlocked, basically, like how far you are in the game. Whenever you have an advantage in progress, you have more places available to you. So if someone were to go for that objective straight out of the gate, for example, that would probably leave them behind the other player on a bunch of upcoming things. So that's something that you may not see done for a while.
Yeah, and again, as Flarebear alluded to, this game is extremely linear in its progress. So that bottom left objective, the Summit Blue Heart, that is the last, well, not the last chapter, but the last story chapter of the game. So to get to the Chapter 7, you have to beat Chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no way around it. So definitely progress is something we're going to highlight a lot as our runners progress. But into the Forsaken City, I bet the first objective on Blast is going to be the 2 winged berries as we see our runners dash through. And it looks like OddBod is actually grabbing the first winged berry, and Marlon's going to go for it too. So we're going to see the first lockout competition as both of our runners are going to be racing at this objective. The next winged berry is in about 30 seconds. Applying our runners have some good execution. And once we get through this little bit of a hectic race for the first block, we can talk about the mechanics of Celeste. But it definitely looks like right now OddBod is about a screen ahead. And we're coming up here in about 2 more screens. We're going to see that winged berry. And... Yep, OddBod is going to mark that one. Yep. So now that we have that hectic thing out of the way again, only 2 minutes and we've already marked on the first objective. That's a very important one as both runners go for it. But you have to look at the synergy later in the card. In the top left corner, we have 4 winged berries. And in the bottom right, essentially, we have 6 winged berries. So we're going to see more berries throughout it. But do you want to talk a bit about Celeste, Flarebear?
Yeah, so just general stuff that they're going to be doing. And they'll have to be applying this to whatever areas they have to go to. Dashing is the main movement option in this game. It can be canceled by jumping out of it. It also dashes refresh after a couple frames. You can like dash it in again. And if you jump at the very end of a dash, then you will have a dash available to you again, which you can see by the color of her hair. Like over on OddBod's screen, he's going to do a dash off the floor, but still keep his hair red. So that was an extended jump dash. And one more thing is that if you do a dash while crouching into the floor, the crouching state will give you more speed, and that's what we call a hyper dash. OddBod going for that berry there. I'm trying to think, what is that for? Maybe he's just going for 20 berries in the long run, because that berry's pretty quick.
Quite possibly. We'll have to see as it plays out. But yes, as Flarebear was talking about, a lot of the movement comes off dashing, and we use various prefixes to describe dashing. You might hear reverses, you might hear hypers, you might hear ultras, supers, dash cancels, things of that nature.
Do we have all berries in intervention?
Yes, actually, I believe so. Middle, right.
Yes, we do. Okay, intervention. This is another thing I should talk about. There are a lot of objectives that are based off of checkpoints in the game. This checkpoint right here with the battle line chase in Chapter 2, this is intervention. And it appears OddBod is going to be collecting all the berries here. Well, I do not believe Marlon is. So that's going to cost him some progress, but going to give him this one goal. So if he can execute this well, it should be...
Marlon is collecting berries. I just don't think... I think he missed one.
I don't think he's going for this objective, but he may
going
just
on
be
and
going
off
for
about it. This is very peculiar.
He may just be getting some berries because they're fast. Because we do have 20 berries in dead center of the card.
And also, another thing to point about as we talk about the long haul, while we might be focusing on the short-term objective of all berries in intervention, we have 5 cassettes on the board on the left column, which no runners decided to get the old site cassette, which is one of the quicker ones in the game.
Yeah, it only takes like 20 seconds to grab.
We also have all 6 winged berries, and Marlon here is going to go right by the winged berry and awake, a very close one right next to a checkpoint. Oh, actually, wait, he's turning back. Oh, there he goes.
What is he grabbing this berry for? Is there berries in awake?
3 and 6. 3 and 6 winged berries.
Oh, right.
And OddBod actually...
Did he miss one? He's already marked off the objective. He must have seen in the pause menu that he missed one. Either way, this is costing him a lot of time and progress. Did he get the awake checkpoint?
I'm not even sure.
What is he missing?
Ooh. Well, while we're stuck in confusion, Marlon is going to be going on to the 3rd chapter, the Celestial Resort.
Yeah, and so right here, something we can probably tell he's got his eyes on. Another chapter, or another checkpoint-based goal is Huge Mess Order. So Huge Mess is the section where you have to clean up the main area of this hotel that he's coming up on.
Ooh.
There are 3 little sub-areas that you have to go to and hit a button to clean them. And you can see all the little pieces of debris right here. There's like the purple and white stuff that right there. That's the towels. And you have to clean them up in a specific order based off of what the bingo objective tells you to get an objective. Generally, that's something that's pretty quick to do to get the goal for. Yeah, I'm so confused at what OddBod just exited out for.
Yeah, it must have been an accident, but Marlon here getting 4 winged berries as that first winged berry in resort comes his way.
Yeah, so even though he missed out barely on the 2 winged berries objective, that was not necessarily bad for him to do because there are 2 other goals that synergize with it. We also have 4 and 6 on the board. And the way progress is going, Marlon may as well be winning to that too.
And yeah, we have to look up the upcoming goal when we talk about progress, because we like to look at elongated goals like these 20 berries, 75 berries, 3 blue and 3 red hearts. Those are some things you have to do over multiple chapters. But when we talk about things where progression matters a lot and being faster than your opponent, we're going to see complete Pico 8, reach Old Site in Pico 8, get 15 berries in Pico 8, which Marlon is not going to go for. Very interesting. We have 3 objectives for Pico 8, which is the arcade cabinet, the hidden collectible on the side there. But Marlon actually not opting to go for it.
What I think's going on, while that is 3 in 1, like 3 objectives in 1, basically, he doesn't know that OddBod just made that weird mistake of exiting out and losing a ton of time. As far as he knows, he is right behind him on this huge mess order, and he may want to be locking this out. So I'm not sure when they will decide to go into Pico 8, but to sum that up, Pico 8 is a little, like, arcade cabinet, I guess. And it's in a room hidden below the towels section that Marlon is in right now. And you just have to find your way back there. You open the machine, and then you are brought into like a little mini game that is basically the old version of Celeste, the original game that's on the Pico 8.
Can I snatch in a quick donation?
Oh yeah, sure,
go
please.
Pikastrov donates $5 and says, I did not obey Vlocha. That's a bunch of fences. I did not obey Vlocha because Vlocha told me to. I did not. Oh, hi, Vlocha.
Oh, I was just about to read that. I was going to even put on... I was just looking up the accent on that.
So Marlon probably forgot that fifth winged berry on the way there. He had to grab it on the way back, which is a little bit more awkward, but he got that out of the way. And now he's going to take this heart. That's going to be going towards 3 red and blue hearts, which you'll probably see checked off at some point. And that heart does not take very long to grab.
Yeah, and also, well, we're all trying to talk at once. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. I was just gonna say that. Yeah, just so you go, no. I know we're early in the Bingothon, but I know we say it a lot, but it's going to Doctors Without Borders, which is a very good charity. So if you want to donate, there's a link down below, and just generally fueling events like these, because bingo is a really cool way of enjoying video gaming and speedrunning. So. Awesome.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot we have Theo and Elevator Shaft. Okay, this is probably why Marlon rushed straight to Huge Mess. Once you get out of the Huge Mess checkpoint, you have this cutscene right here. This is one of the freest objectives. It's right on the way of where you need to go, like pretty much no matter what route you're doing. Even if you decide to do the B side of this level for whatever reason, you can't even open it until past this point. So if you're in the lead of progress, there's no reason to not take that. It's just a free goal for him.
Yeah, and Marlon here is also going for all elevator shaft berries. Is that an objective? Yep, it's bottom middle, column 3, row 4. Yeah, and we can definitely see that one interesting thing about the Celeste Bingo metagame is that normally this game has a skip cutscene option, but we actually do have some objectives are just to watch a cutscene, just to go to an optional cutscene and watch it. So that thing that Marlon did, the talk to you an elevator shaft objective, is actually one of those examples.
That is all of the berries? Yes, that is another pretty quick objective.
I think it's also worth noting, wow, that OddBod does have 20 berries, which is an objective, but he has not marked it off yet. He collected a lot of berries from Startup Resort, yeah. And I don't know, because Marlon is only at 13 berries, I don't see him going for it. But, again...
If OddBod completely forgets about it, it's totally in the realm of possibility that Marlon takes it away from him, and that would be really unfortunate. Hopefully he remembers to check that off.
Also, Demo Dash for OddBod. This is a pixel-perfect trick where you manipulate Madeline's hitbox. Very nicely done. It's sub-pixel precise at the setup, but if you get the right sub-pixel, you have about an 8-frame window, but it's give or take anywhere from 2 to 8 frames, so it's not the easiest of tricks, but very impressive nonetheless.
Yeah, and one more thing to note there. He got so much marked off. Like, all of the... OddBod's caught up now, but... Marlon got so much extra collectibles out of the way through what he did, because whenever he went to grab the key, you know, after getting the berries, which got him a goal, he got the cassette, which is directly behind there. It took not any time at all to grab, and that's going to give him a B-side if he wants to complete it later to get a red heart. Just for reference, blue hearts are hidden in secret areas on the A-sides, which is you saw him do Marlon get that one earlier. Red hearts you obtain by completing a B-side. They're located at the end of the level. And Marlon might actually be going for 20 berries here.
He is. He's not going to be able to complete it by the end of Chapter 3 as he'll be left on 16 berries. So we hope by that time OddBod gets a nice refreshing exit to menu, he'll mark it. He sees he has 23 berries right now. And we're actually going to be finished in time. And yes, OddBod does mark 20 berries, thankfully. And we're actually going to be instant going to Ridge.
And I guess I forgot to mention, grabbing a cassette unlocks that subsequent chapter's B-side.
Yes, and that's going to be very important here. Because we're going to talk about, there's a lot on the board when we talk about Chapter 4 here, because there's the All Collectibles in 4A card, right, column 5, row 2, almost at the top right there, you can see it, which Marlon is gearing up for. But another thing we have to keep on the board is there's use 4 binoculars on B-sides and use 5 binoculars at B-sides, and binoculars are a cute little thing that's put in the game for very long rooms, which the game will eventually let you see into the other parts of the level, so you kind of know what you're going to expect.
Wait, is Marlon getting a 1-up here? Oh, I didn't see this goal. 1-up in 4A. He's about to get this. Dude, if OddBod had forgot to check off 20 berries, he could have probably sniped it from him right here. So 1-up is when you collect 6 berries all at the same time. You can see the score rally up. Oh gosh, he has to do this round.
He says 1 more berry to go. Oh. Very nicely done from Marlon.
You're gonna see the 1-up right there.
So yeah, I think the technical number is if you are on the ground for 7 frames, you will collect a berry.
It's 9 frames, yeah.
9 frames. So the challenge is to make sure you spend no longer than 9 frames on the ground, which is approximately a 1/6 of a second. If you would do that, the berry would collect.
Marlon, looking into that binocular there, that kind of shows you what those are, but does it actually help him with anything?
Nope. Oh, and also OddBod.
OddBod stole 6 winged berries.
Very back and forth on that one. But I'm curious here. Marlon getting the cassette, now putting me at 2 cassettes, but he's not going for the 4B binocular play. I think jump on 20 snowballs is also an objective we'll see in the Golden Ridge. Snowballs are an entity that are only seen in this chapter, the Golden Ridge, as... Oh, unfortunate death from Marlon there. But essentially, when we get into the harsh wind sections later on the level, we will see snowballs that we can jump on. And that objective is basically a time sink, as we would see a runner sit in a room for a minute, basically jumping on snowballs.
So I guess Marlon here is going for all collectibles in 4A? Okay,
I think
never mind. He started out doing so. He's gonna make sure to get this heart. This is something that's still worth doing.
Shout out to Super Mario Bros. 3 here. These hearts are hidden on the A sides of the levels, and this is going to help him for the 3 blue and 3 red hearts objectives. As you see, that heart is blue. Eye of the Storm.
So he has 2... Okay, he is getting this berry. I'm not sure what he's doing. I think he might want to get all collectibles in 4A in the long run. Just may not be doing it now, because that would lose him a lot of progress to do now. Because what else do we have ahead of here? We have some goals in 5A in the next chapter. OddBod is going to get this.
OddBod is bopping snowballs.
Here. Yeah, so
Marlon can't contest this, but it is a huge time sink.
Shoutouts to the bingo mod for Celeste. The bingo mod for Celeste, you can see when OddBod jumps on these snowballs here. It adds counters for all of these different collectibles and entities in the game as a way of keeping track for stuff like, jump on 20 snowballs. Because in the base game, you would just have to count it. And whenever I played bingo, Lockout bingo, and did objectives like that without the bingo mod, I swear every time I would always get 21 or 22 because I was scared I miscounted and didn't want to cheat. But yeah, that makes things like this a lot more helpful. So yeah, it is a bunch of time of just standing still. Something I like to do, there are a bunch of intended strats in this chapter where if you do the fastest strat for the screen, you will bounce on a snowball all the way. I don't really like to just go for all of them right away at the start. I like to... Wait, he returned a map after 19?
After 20. I think he's going for the Pico 8 now. He
it didn't
tick
up. It didn't tick up to 20. Yeah. But yeah, he got 20. But yeah, if you go through that checkpoint, I like to just get the intended snowball bops. That gives you 3 or 4 extra, and then you can just do the rest before finishing. But he is now going to Pico 8. This is the mini game. This is Actually, it's good that he got that progress lead back from Marlon. He's going to be losing it here, but in trade for 3 objectives, because there are 3 objectives in Pico 8, which is, you were joking about this before this started, but you never see this much stuff happening in Pico 8. So he's going to be getting all of the berries and completing the whole game, right?
Yep. Just to clarify, if you don't know, if you can't tell what's going on OddBod's screen right now, this is Pico 8. It's the arcade cabinet that's hidden in the Celestial Resort. It was put in the game as kind of an Easter egg, as this is, I believe, not an alpha version, but a prototype version of the original Celeste that was made at a game jam. So you can see how far the game has come. But yeah, he's also going to be unlocking those hidden berries throughout the Pico 8 cabinet. There are 18 of them, and he needs 15 for the objective, I believe.
Okay, I believe Marlon is going back for Red Heart and Blue Heart. He does have the lead on cassettes and B-sides. No one has actually entered a B-side yet, but he's about to get this cassette here.
That's going to put him at 3, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Ooh.
3 cassettes. The Forsaken City B-side is not very long, so this shouldn't be too bad for him to go back and do. And with OddBod taking his time in Pico 8 right now, he's going to be able to get away with this.
And yeah, we talk a lot about how Celeste isn't it's very linear as a game, and how little that progression might actually start mattering now that both our chapters are heavy into the mid-game, almost Chapter 5, Chapter 4, and you can see they're going back into these early chapters to redo
Oh my god,
objectives. I wonder, Marlon might be getting the 2B cassette here. I think he's just going for 5 cassettes.
Dude, OddBod is actually a lord at Pico 8. That's how you know he's a bingo runner.
That's
If
how
you're
you
good
know.
if you're good at Pico 8, you're either a Pico 8 runner or a bingo runner.
Oh, when he's going for that trick, wow.
Yeah, he knows how to do the Pico 8 spike jumps. I actually can't even explain those to you. I have no idea how they work.
Me neither. But yeah, Marlon getting the 2A cassette, and he's actually staying a bit longer, probably going for 15 berries and 4 chapters, I presume. But again, we're really looking at those long-term goals here. Once OddBod gets these Pico 8 objectives off the board, there's really just going to be a lot of, not quickies, but goals that have longevity towards them that you really have to build up towards. And we're going to see Marlon is going to initiate himself onto the Chapter 1 B-side. This chapter has 2 binoculars in it. When we looked at that, use binoculars on B-sides. And they'll also prep him up for the Blue Heart and Red Heart in Forsaken City. I don't actually know if he did collect the Blue Heart yet.
No, he is not. He's going to have to go back for that, but it's not too far from the crossing checkpoints. Yeah, there is 1 binocular. Or no, he already has...
That's from an A side.
Oh, yeah, the second binocular he grabbed was from 4A, if I remember. So we're going to have to not count that. Getting that spike jump there. Okay, so
And
OddBod's
100%
steering. He has,
Pico 8. There he goes.
he has 18 berries in Pico 8. I guess he just went through and grabbed all of them just to be safe. Yeah, that will give him both of those objectives. And now what is he going to do? I assume he's going to continue progress and go into 5A and get the objectives there. But
Yeah,
he's
there's
going to
talk
leave...
to... You can
Go
go
ahead.
for it. Oh, I was going to say, in
I'll
5A...
go. I'll go.
Oh.
No, I'm interrupting you here. I'm ending this. All right,
No.
so, he's gonna be giving up basically the cassette goals and the red and blue heart goals to Marlon here. He's gonna probably be beating him to 5 cassettes, blue and red heart in Forsaken City, and 3 red hearts and blue hearts. That's the B-side progress that Marlon is winning from this. That's gonna hurt him a lot. Oh, and he's also gonna probably beat him to 5 binoculars and B-sides with OddBod making this call. 4 and wait, there's 2 of them. Oh my gosh, Marlon is actually beasting right now with this. This will bring him back completely because OddBod has the lead right now. This will bring him back completely.
So now they are even in progress. Both of them are up to Chapter 5. OddBod with a 3-point lead, about to be a 2-point lead once UltraMarlin gets the blue heart here. Actually, OddBod exiting to map, re-entering the Golden Ridge. Going to cliff. This is very peculiar.
Wait, yeah, what is he doing? Going... Wait, what is back here? It's just a
He's
berry
getting this
room.
one berry he didn't get. Is all berries in cliff face an option?
No, there's all collectibles in 4A, but I don't think he has progress for that. It was Marlon who was getting those. Okay, so yeah, there's blue and red heart in Forsaken City. Marlon just went back and collected it. Probably be going for B-sides now. He exits out again
Marlon entering 5A here. This is a part of the game where we really just try to get inside of these runners' heads here as we look to what objectives they're getting, because I feel like 5 cassettes, Marlon only needs 1 more to get that one. And I think OddBod is probably going for 15 berries in 4 chapters, but even then, I don't see the gain of getting the 4A berries right now.
Yeah, so one thing that I think is going on here right now, I think it is very aware, or both of them are very aware of the fact that Marlon has the lead on the B-side progress. Marlon may know that OddBod is scared of contesting him on that because he has already marked off stuff like Blue and Red Heart and Forsaken City. And so when it comes to stuff like 3 Red Hearts and Blue Hearts, OddBod has made next to no progress on those. So what Marlon's doing here, he may just be taking advantage of the fact that he has those just waiting for him uncontested and rushing what OddBod's doing instead, which seems to be progress. Right now, he's going to grab this 4th cassette, I believe?
5th.
Oh, this is his 5th cassette.
Yep.
Okay, so he did grab 1 through 4. Oh yeah, I remember, he went back for the second one. Yeah, it's gonna be his 5th cassette right here.
Yeah, I think it's also worth noting how we're like kind of mad conspiracists. Conspiracists? Is that a word? I hope so. You know, just completely trying to guess where in these runners' heads. But if you plan on playing bingo, it's kind of a gentleman's agreement. It's part of the rules that you are not meant to get any information about your opponent from any source. You're not allowed to watch the stream, have their chat open. I mean, you can talk with them if you want to banter, but you're not really supposed to talk about it. You're supposed to be completely in the dark, and the only tell you're supposed to have is what they mark on the board.
Yeah.
So it can definitely be a psycho... What's the word I'm looking for?
Psychological.
Psychological kind of battle in a sense.
Like, there are cases, even when he said the only information you get is what they mark. You're not required to mark off something when you get it. You can, you can either completely forget and actually get something first and then forget to mark it off, and then someone steals it from you and then you get mad. And there's also instances where, out of confidence, you wait to mark something that you've already completed and then end up losing it because of that. I've had that happen against me in matches before.
So I think it's right now both of our runners are actually playing the B sides. Here on UltraMarlin screen, he's playing 2B, and OddBod is playing 4B. Now, what's interesting about these objectives here is that through this, Marlon is going to get a red heart, and that's going to advance his progress to the 3 blue hearts and 3 red hearts objective. He currently has 3 blue hearts in Chapter 1, in Chapter 3, and in Chapter 4. He currently has 1 red heart in Chapter 1. But right now, I think this is actually a decent play for OddBod, because he is going to snipe away the use 4 binoculars in B sides, as Chapter 4B is kind of a meme in that it has 4 binoculars. It is the most plentiful level in the game when it comes to these majestic viewing creatures. And Marlon is actually only on 3 binoculars on B sides, but actually there might be one in the next room. I'm not sure.
There is one in the next room. There is one in the next room. Oh my gosh, OddBod is going to get trolled by this
out. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
2 binoculars on 1B, and he's actually going to exit out of the level.
Yep,
he's going to completely deem forfeit, and he's going to go to 5A.
That was the whole objective of that 4B play, is the fact that it has so many binoculars in it. Wow. Yeah, and Marlon just takes that away from him. Now he's getting a red heart. OddBod must be getting a little lost here. He at least has these 5A objectives available to him. I assume it's aware to him that because he just checked off a B-side thing, that he will be able to get these A-side objectives first.
Yeah, and I have to say, if you're in OddBod's position here, Marlon definitely has progression on the objectives, while they're technically even in game accessibility, the chapter accessibility, the actual in-game progression. OddBod definitely needs to take some of these freebies, the Talk to Theo and search, the grab list search, checkpoint. Right now he's actually going for berries, and Marlon is playing 5B, going for that red heart.
Yeah, so I guess Marlon is just going to let him have these 5A objectives, which should be just fine for him. 5B and 6B as well are really interesting B-sides in that. And if you watch speedrun main game categories for this game, 5B and 6B can be completed faster than their A-side versions. And so for example, in the any percent run, 5B is done by many people, and that makes objective like, you know, complete Temple B side a really good goal. Like if you're just going for progress, that's like, it's literally no time lost to do because it's just the optimal route. Same thing with chapter 6 B-side completion. And you know, they also have some binoculars in them. They're just really strong chapters. So what is OddBod farming berries here for?
15 berries in 4 chapters and or 75 berries, I guess.
Oh, right, yeah, that's gonna give him progress for both of those. I forgot. I was gonna say 75 berries, but that doesn't seem that worth doing considering the situation right now. But we also have 15 berries in 4 chapters. That was probably what he was doing that in Ridge for. I completely missed that.
So yeah, while our runner, oh, Depth's Corner boost from OddBod, very nicely done. I just want to point out, while our runners are running away here at the Bingothon, they're one of many. Bingothon is a huge, massive speedrunning online marathon this weekend that you can catch basically for the next 2 days, 2 to 3 days. We are raising money for Doctors Without Borders, so if you want to donate, you can scroll down below. ! Donate in the chat. I'm sure we can get some silly donations read out if you feel like donating them. So yeah, it's all good fun, good stuff. This is Celeste again if you're just coming in. I am Sushi and the other person is Flare Bear. And we're getting into it. This is a pretty good match.
So yeah, as you can see here, Marlon has left these 5A objectives remaining for OddBod. That's the little split that they took there. They each had their own benefits to doing them. Marlon is going to get a heart from this. OddBod on the board, he has Grabless Search, which is a 5A checkpoint, and he also has Talk to Theo in Search. So that is the second to last checkpoint of this chapter. And he's gonna... If you noticed at the very start of this run, it's because of objectives like this. We start out bingo matches with something called a variant mode on. So they're objectives for doing checkpoints grabless, because there are many objectives that you can do in this game without ever grabbing onto a wall. Some of them have really hard strats that make them possible, and so those can be interesting objectives. But just for like anti-cheat purposes, something that we do is for those objectives, you're required to turn on a variant called no grabbing. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but it disables you from grabbing at all. Because there have been cases where someone, like, you know, did a grabless objective out of muscle memory, accidentally grabbed for like one screen and didn't notice it and checked it off anyway, and then, you know, bad stuff happens. This is just something that we implemented. Yeah, variants is like something that you get when you complete the full game. Wait, what is he doing? He was about to turn it on there.
I think he mismenued.
Yeah, he must have been going to variants. He's about to enter search right here. Yeah, so this is the no grabbing. And he's now in the search checkpoint. On the way here, oh yeah, and for climbing up walls, you have to do those little neutral jumps because you aren't able to grab. Coming up in a moment here, he's going to be going up for the optional Theo cutscene. This one actually takes decently long to do. You can check off the goal as soon as you enter the cutscene. You are still required to watch all of it though, so he's going to have to master this text now, and this one actually takes a bit. But he is under no pressure right now on 5A, so he's going to be able to get this search objective just fine anyway. And then after that, he doesn't really have any benefit to continuing on to Chapter 6, does he? He'll probably be going back to get more berries, right?
Yeah, this is an important part of the game where we talk about win conditions. Of course, if you've never seen Lockout Bingo before, you can see our runners are kind of making irregular shapes here, not lines, not columns, not diagonals, but they're just getting squares. The name of the game is 13, that number right next to their names. It's at 9 right now for OddBod, 10 for Marlon. And if you get 13 squares, you will win. The goal is just get as many squares as possible, and 13 happens to be the tiebreaker number. So we definitely want to talk about win conditions when it comes to here, as we're going to get tied up very shortly, as OddBod is going to complete the search checkpoint without grabbing. We need to look at what objectives are left here. We have 75 berries, all collectibles in 4A, all berries in 1,000 meters, which is a checkpoint in Chapter 7, the Summit. 15 berries in 4 chapters in the Summit Blue Heart. So actually, OddBod here's going to turn off grabbing. I'm curious if he's going to complete the Theo cutscene here.
He is. He's going to keep continuing. Oh no, never mind. He goes back.
Because of course, where we talk about if Marlon right now, who is playing through Chapter 6, Chapter 6 is about 6 minutes long, and it has no squares at all right now. So he is purely doing this only to unlock the summit. Right now, we can look at possible win conditions. If Marlon completely neglects all the berry objectives on the boards, if he neglects 75 berries, 15 berries in 4 chapters, and all collectibles in 4A, then that will stop Marlon. That will put OddBod at 13 squares, so he will win the game if Marlon does continue to play 6A while OddBod gets these berries. So I'm very curious how this is going to play out.
I think it is very apparent to Marlon that because he's been able to get away with all this stuff, the OddBod has been spending extra time doing berries. So if he has that assumption, he is correct, because that is what he's about to be completing. So if he were to try and lock OddBod out of those, that would be a waste of time for him. So this is a good call, but you said he has 10, right? What 3 remaining is he going for?
Both runners have 10 objectives on the board right now, so both need 3 to win. Of course, there are no ties. 25 is an odd number.
He has 16.
16 berries in
16
Ridge.
there. He's probably just recounting all of his berries. Yeah, he's going to need to get 5 more from here. The first area has a bunch of pretty quick berries that you can get, so it shouldn't take
I think
too long.
Actually, right now, of course, we talked about this before. Our players have no idea where the other ones are, where the other players are, I should say. But right now, Marlon really has to lock out OddBod from all collectibles in 4A, I feel like, or he's not going to have a chance to win this.
Yeah, because wasn't Marlon farming ridge berries earlier?
He was?
Yeah, it's really hard for him to know that, like, these are the kind of situations where playing bingo is incredibly difficult. But if he just goes for what he's going for now, continuing through Chapter 6 will only give him 2 goals. He will unlock Summit, which will let him get all berries in 1,000 meters, which is a Summit checkpoint, and it will potentially give him the Summit Blue Heart down the road. But that will leave OddBod to get all collectibles in 4A.
Oh. He actually is exiting out. Both players exit out in sync.
He's going to Ridge. He has more berries than
He is
OddBod.
doing it.
Okay, this is the perfect call here.
Mm.
He's actually, if he goes with this can be the game-winning call right here.
But OddBod actually goes out to, I think he's looking for which 15 berries he needs in Forsaken City.
Yeah, he did just complete 15 in Old Site, right?
Yep.
So OddBod's about to get this, but he will not be very happy to see Marlon take this away from him.
Shit, now we talked about how Marlon needed to lock out OddBod here. But actually, when we look at what's going to happen here, if Marlon does do this lockout, then OddBod cannot win off of the berries. He has to unlock the summit, in which now Marlon is actually half of the way through Chapter 6, which is about a 3-minute section.
Yeah, so this is going to basically just ensure, as long as Marlon is confident in the fact that Chapter 6 has given him the progress lead on OddBod, he will just rush to Summit and just bank on those 2 Summit objectives and win. So we may actually be seeing him go through all of that chapter. Yeah, going back to Ridge was the perfect play. Like, those are the kind of things that would, like, missing out on opportunities like these. Or it's so hard to make these decisions.
I think we're praising Marlon for this decision right now, but you have to realize these players are completely blind, so this is almost a 50-50 for him. He could be making a Galaxy Brain play or a Peanut Brain play, and he would not know until the squares are marked.
Like, as far as he knows, because OddBod has been spending so much time on berries, he could have very well just got this out of the way too in the meantime when he was doing that. And, Marlon could very well just get to the very last berry, go to check it off, and see that OddBod did it just like 2 seconds before him.
But I do want to point out, OddBod is almost done with his berry objectives. He's going to mark those 2 off and get on to 12. And then once Marlon's also very close to all collectibles 4A, because he did get the heart, he did get Cosette, so he just needs to finish off the berries here. So this is his last berry.
I think that's his last one. Yeah, there he goes. That's it.
Yep, so that's his last berry. And OddBod actually exits out, gets the 15 berries in 4 chapters and 75 berries total. Now's all progression. And OddBod has to still do the 5A checkpoint. So OddBod is almost 3.5 minutes behind in progression, 3 to 4 minutes behind in progression.
Marlon has pretty much met his win condition here. That was the game-winning call, was 4A. OddBod probably knows this when he saw him check it off. That's probably the next thing that he was going to go do, was that 4A checkpoint.
Yeah, that's a very good call from Marlon. We're going to praise him for that, but we have to look at what execution is left up here, because even though us Bingo veterans would like to say that Marlon is in a very good spot to win this. This Bingo probably won't be over for another 10 minutes. Marlon has to get both the objectives on the board. The Summit Blue Heart probably takes an additional, 2 minutes to get, and all berries in 1,000 meter probably takes another 30 seconds to a minute, and of course execution plays a whole matter into it. So, while it is possible, Marlon is definitely ahead by quite a large margin, almost probably 3.5 minutes.
Alright, so you're gonna get to be watching some good old any percent movement for a couple minutes on Marlon's screen. You're just gonna be seeing this nice battle line fight. Marlon is an incredibly skilled any percent runner as well. These are the best two, I would say, Bingo players to watch, but also both very high caliber any percent runners, both with 28-minute PBs. Marlon's is pretty low as well. So yeah, this should be some entertaining play for the next few minutes.
Yeah, I guess this is just both runners just going through Chapter 6. Again, no objectives here. We're just bottlenecking it to the summit. I don't even know if that's a phrase you could put it that way. But I actually would like to take a quick second to highlight Celeste Lockout Bingo does have a kind of community behind it here. Actually hosted by the man on the left himself, OddBod. We have what's called the OddBod Odd Bingo Invitational, which has been going live on his channel. If you want to follow either of the runners, if you're not following ESA Marathon already, shame on you. Hit the follow button, please. Then not only do they host Bingothon, they have their own marathons as well as hosting other stuff, such as I know the BSG monthlies. I know Hackathon happens every once a year. If you're not following this channel, big shame on you. But if you want to follow any of the runners' channels, anyone involved, I know if you like what you're seeing right now with Celeste Lockout Bingo, OddBod does his own stuff with production. I believe me and Flair are actually runners in that, so, it's all, if you enjoy that stuff, make sure to source out to those people, but...
Yeah, if Sushi wins his next match in that bracket, then us two will play each other.
But yeah, Bingo is a very exciting speed game, and again, shoutouts to all the people involved in the Bingothon, because it's a very unique way to show off. I don't even want to call it speedrunning, because it's really its own breed, but it's incredible appreciation for video games, and awesome to see communities come together. This is kind of a lull because they're doing normal Celeste 90% stuff. If you haven't watched a Celeste run, by the way, this game has been kind of out for a year and a couple months now. It's kind of the new kid on the block for speedrunning. A very popular game, very easy to pick up if you're interested in running a 2D platformer. Community is very welcoming, and there's going to be some sick DLC out soon, TM. So, it's a very welcoming environment, also a very big environment. Of course, I have to sell my own speed game, but oops. But yeah, Marlon here is going to be finishing up Chapter 6 with about a 3-minute lead in progression over OddBod. So it's going to take some catastrophic failures from him to result in a defeat. But we talk about the Summit Blue Heart. To get that objective, it's probably about 8 minutes long, give or take. Maybe 7.
Yeah, we figured going into this, it's pretty easy to tell objectives like that are going to only be resulted to as a tiebreaker objective. Something small to talk about, this has been happening throughout the entire race, but whenever you get to the final screen of a chapter, there's always a cutscene at the end, and in speedruns you just do skip cutscene, you just pause, hit down once and hit A. It's pretty quick menuing. In addition, we don't do it because you have to do a tiny bit of extra menuing, but for barely any time loss, you can return to map instead of watching or skipping the cutscene. That will still give you the completion for the chapter. And in addition, you won't have to look at the chapter complete screen where it shows you your time. And that saves a few seconds in real time. And because we are playing Lockout Bingo, that will be helping them out a little bit, racing to objectives. So yeah, there are many, many checkpoints in Summit. One that is representative of each chapter in the game. And each of them have these little gems hidden in them. You have to collect all of them and bring them to the end checkpoint to unlock the Blue Heart. So that first one was representative of Chapter 6. This is the... He almost forgot the gem there. He has to go back.
Gem. This
the
is
gem
how we talk about
over,
lead changes.
down and to his left. I hope he remembers the rest of them, or else we might have some funny business going on. Yeah, and this is 500 meters, which is the city checkpoint. So, yeah.
I don't
He
even want to
remembers it
explain
now.
the story for this game because if you haven't played the story, if you haven't played this game, please play it. It's a very beautiful metaphor. The game has been critically acclaimed. It is also a very cute indie game. It has really good music. Shout out to Lena Rain. Nothing but praise here. Nothing but positivity. Nothing but bingo. What's more important? Literally basic human needs or bingo? I'm not sure. Firebear, do you have a weigh-in on this issue?
No, I was just recounting the bingo card, because I completely forgot. OddBod... The score right now is 12 to 11 in OddBod's favor, now that I'm looking at it. Which is silly, because he's, like, pretty much relying on a miracle at this point to bring it back, because Marlon just has the remaining 2 objectives both available to him.
Oh yeah, also we talk about how all berries in 1000 meter is an objective, and right now Marlon is in that 1000 meter objective, so he's gonna get some nice red berries to make a nice strawberry pie and get that 13th, hopefully make his way to that 13th point. Ooh, bad death from OddBod. You really hate to see it. Also, I guess
Something
since
to
we can...
keep in mind... Go ahead.
No, you go.
Alright. Something to keep in mind. I guess I would know better if I were paying closer, or if I could remember better the most recent events that have been happening. I don't think, based off of stuff that he checked off, that it's clear in Marlon's mind that OddBod isn't just right behind him right now. Like, as far as he knows, OddBod could be right behind him, and he only needs to snipe one of these objectives. So, you know, there's also the possibility of, like, maybe if OddBod were closer, then he could just skip out on these 1000 meter berries, because Marlon has to do both. So, like, if he just relied on Marlon taking extra time to do these, then he could just rush to the end and get that blue heart instead. But OddBod knows for a fact exactly where Marlon is and what he is doing. I mean, unless if you were just throwing the match. He's in Summit, and he's got to do both of these objectives. It doesn't matter too much, because he is also far behind, but... For Marlon, performing this could be pretty scary right now. Even though his lead is basically set in stone, nerves could still come into play here, because he may not be fully aware of his lead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you like the Lockout bingo format, there are some other Lockout bingos throughout the marathon. You're actually gonna see in about 2 hours Super Mario 63 being ran Lockout bingo. Tomorrow you're gonna see Lockout bingo 2v2 Super Mario Sunshine. That sounds pretty cool. You're also gonna see Lockout bingo for Super Mario Odyssey. After the next 24 hours. Also, new Super Mario Bros. Wii, Jet Set Radio Future. Lots of good Lockout bingo. Oh my, SpongeBob, Battle for Bikini Bottom, Hollow Knight Randomizer, hello? Lockout bingo is where it's at, guys. I mean, come on. Yeah, Super Mario 63, not to be confused with Super Mario 64. Different games, guys. If you want to find out the differences, you'll just have to check it out in about an hour.
Marlon, having a little moment there in that 1500 gem screen. There's a pretty simple fast strat. I don't know if he just didn't know. I'm sure he's done the objective before. He must have just messed it up. I wasn't actually looking at his screen at the time.
Oh, also, if you're curious about all the bingos going on right now, there's a schedule. I'm pretty sure there's a command, and there's also a box down below you can click on. And yeah, even if you're just here for Celeste, or even if you're not here for Celeste, and you're like, why are these 12-year-old kids talking about video games? Check out what Bingothon has to offer. Pretty cool. But yeah, I think right now you can see, this is actually my favorite gem in Summit. The objective is actually to get the blue heart in the Summit. But because the summon is the Big Daddy chapter, they actually laid it out in a way that each checkpoint has its own gem, and once you get to the end of the level, you basically collect all the Chaos Emeralds, the Dragon Balls, the Infinity Stones. I don't know, whatever
I already
comparison you want to
explained
make.
this.
Yeah, I just wanted to put the bad comparisons in there. Listen, Brady, I don't hear you all the time because I'm too busy interrupting you. Okay?
Yeah, OddBod was pausing for a moment. He typed in the Bingo Sync chat, but yeah, he's continuing play.
I can quote, "Just throw a bit, Lamau, GG." And Marlon is gonna throw himself into the end of 2,000 meter here. Also, I just exposed OddBod. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, he was just joking with Marlon for a moment.
Ooh, bad death.
I mean, I guess we can take the little bit of extra time to discuss decisions that OddBod made that resulted in this outcome. If I go back and look at what he did, there was the obvious thing at the start of him, I guess, returning to map. I'll have to ask him about that whenever we interview, because he lost a ton of time in progress for essentially no reason, because he exited out of the very end of a checkpoint and had to redo all of it and got like nothing extra.
Yeah, he was also locked out of the binoculars when he was about a minute and a half to 2 minutes into 4B.
Oh, right. Yeah. He had available to him, I guess he should have prioritized Ridge earlier, because I think it was pretty apparent that Marlon would not have been able to steal 75 berries from him, considering he spent so much time doing B-sides. He got 5 Cosettes, and he got 3 red and blue hearts, which OddBod did not spend very much time doing either of. So I feel like he should have been more confident in the fact that 75 berries plus 15 berries and 4 chapters were available to him. Kind of like Marlon did. Like we talked about how he left his stuff just sitting there waiting for him because he was confident in the fact he wouldn't have been contested. Because OddBod just rushing those, even though he probably would have had them either way, resulted in Marlon being able to lock him out of all collectibles in 4A, which was something that was actually available to Marlon. It's like, yeah, when you're in that kind of position, you just want to get rid of things that, you know, don't have, like... Because those objectives, like 75 berries, those are, like, more synergy-based goals. Where, like, you can know whether or not someone's going to be able to do them based off of other things that they've checked off. Whereas, like, no matter what your progress is, anyone can go and do, like, you know, certain berries in one checkpoint. You've got to get those stuff, or those things out of the way.
But anyways, we're coming up. Marlon is on the screen, so applying he didn't accidentally miss a gem, which he did not. We should see that heart submerge from under its spiked cage up there, and he will claim
Grabbing
the
this will
victory.
be time, and we are done. And GG to Marlon on a close win, 13-12. I would have not expected this card to have been a tiebreaker card, but it was pretty entertaining.
Yep. Okay, that is Celeste Lockout Bingo ran by UltraMarlin and OddBod. I think we're gonna get them in here in just a second. And by just a second, I mean right now. We're speedrunners, baby. It just works like that.
GG.
GG,
dude.
guys. So, I just wanted to ask on some of the decisions in the more pivotal moments of the set. One thing that stood out at the beginning, we were really confused at OddBod. I'm sure it was some mistake going on, but you returned to map when you were doing 2A for the first time and seemed to have just lost a lot of progress.
Yeah, well, so that's quite a common. That's like a common thing because sort of the last section of intervention, which is the second to last checkpoint, and the last section of awake look pretty similar. So sometimes when you play bingo and there's like a bunch of stuff going on in your brain, like you think about what your opponent is doing, what you should be doing, and what you should take off, etc. You sometimes forget And so I returned to map when I should have skipped cutscene, which is a massive mistake. And the funniest thing is that I told, like, again, that's the thing that happens like once in a while, and it's like a 1 minute mistake at the very beginning. And because it's like so pivotal, I was telling Marlon like the entire time while we were prepping for this bingo, I was telling him, dude, okay, don't do this time, okay? And then I do it.
You even wrote it in the bingo chat right before the match started.
Yeah. Basically, to explain, the very end of 2A, once you make it out of the battle line chase, you have just the really long straightaway. And once you make it to that end cutscene, you realize you're dreaming. You wake up at the very start of the chapter, and then do that exact same section again, just without the dream blocks there. And so he thought that he was in Awake checkpoint, which is the very end checkpoint where you actually wake up. And that checkpoint is only like 20 seconds long. He thought he was in Awake, but he was in Intervention, which is the asleep version, and then had to replay the entire battle line chase, which is a mistake that costs you like a minute or more.
Yeah.
Damn,
And yeah,
it sounds quite dumb, and it is, but again, like you think about so much stuff, like once in a while you just forget about it.
I mean, that happened to me before in a different bingo match, so...
I've done it as well. It really sucks. And then the other main thing, the number one pivotal moment of this set, in my opinion, was the all collectibles in 4A. Because OddBod was spending that entire time, you know, getting 75 berries progress and 15 berries in 4 chapters. But Marlon had to, in that position you were in, you each had 10. Marlon had to lock you out of one of those, and you had berry progress on 75 and 15 and 4 chapters, which may have been somewhat apparent just because he spent so much time doing B-sides and stuff. But he still had all collectibles in 4A available to him. So when you let him lock you out of that, that was the game-winning call right there. Because he spent a ton of time doing 6A before then. That's why the summit goals were so free for him.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought
So
you
once
had
he-
C. Okay,
Yeah,
I
so
only
once
you had
he-
6 a.m. unlocked.
Yeah, so once he went back to 4A and got you out of that, that was the win condition right there. Like, that was just GG
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
point.
I was
Because he
playing for
had
that.
3.5 minutes of progress because you were in Theo of 5A. He was already at the grandma cutscene of Reflection.
Okay, so what I thought, well, in hindsight, of course, you're absolutely right. I think I should have gone for that. I was not thinking that you had any like sort of progress in 6A. I was almost certain that you beat 5P because you ticked off like a B-side objective, 3 blue, 3 red hearts.
Yeah,
I was certain
I
you
beat
beat
5P.
Yeah. And I thought you I didn't see why you would continue into Reflection after 5P, so I thought that we would be even there. And I could after you ticked off all collectibles 4A, I still had to beat Rescue, but that was about it. And I knew that you would lose like a minute back when going for the all 1K berries. So yeah. I thought I could even it out in a late game, but
This is
more
the
progress than I
joy.
thought.
This is the joy of lockout bingos, as we'll see. I think any runner can add to the fact that basically after every match, we have a 20-minute discussion of what happened and what we thought during it, and that's always super fun, even if it feels like we're shouting gibberish for like the next 10 minutes. But I do think we have to wrap up soon, so I actually do. I guess we can do our general stuff. We can say thank you, of course, to Bingothon for allowing the Celeste community on here. It's pretty dope. And if you're interested in more Celeste stuff, of course, follow Marlon, and especially if you're into Lockout Bingo specifically, OddBod runs his own invitational tournament, so he's kind of a big deal if you're interested in the Lockout Bingo scene. So make sure you can drop by a follow. Of course, if you're not following the ESA Marathon, you should do that because they're hosting marathons like Bingothon, which support Docs Without Borders and generally good causes. There are a bunch of incentives there, and I guess I don't know if anyone has anything to say, but one thing I want to add before we get off is I don't know how well you guys have been cruising down the schedule, but what is your most hyped bingo match other than this one, of course? But because personally, I think SMS we ought to support the lockout community, of course. SMS 2v2 lockout sounds pretty fire.
I didn't know that was a thing. That sounds hyper-sick.
Right.
I was also really interested in SA2B, but that was already happened. That was another one that I had watched. One thing I want to say, OddBod, do you have the bingo Discord linked under your stream?
Oh, no, wait, give me a sec. I can pull that up. But you can type exclamation mark Bingothon in my chat and it will pop up.
Yeah.
Oh, not Bingothon, sorry, Bingo Court.
Yeah, bingo cord. You should put that under your stream. But yeah, go to twitch.tv/oddbod and twitch.tv/UltraMarlin. Follow these guys.
Subscribe. What?
They're very good Celeste runners in pretty much everything. They both run all the categories and bingo. So
Marlon, do you have any bingo you're looking forward to in this schedule?
I'm looking at the schedule right now, but there's a lot of stuff that looks really cool.
yeah, SMS Lockout is always good. There are a bunch of these others that I may be interested in watching that I don't actually know how their bingos work, but I would be interested in learning.
Dude, Minecraft should be your jam. I'm definitely
Yeah, of
interested. There's Hollow Knight Randomizer Lockout Invasion. That's
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
hype
yeah,
as
yeah.
heck. I actually
Yeah,
played
yeah,
some
yeah.
Hollow Knight. The game is pretty cool. It's a speed game. But you guys should definitely check that out. It's a very interesting format, but it works out perfectly, and it's super interesting to watch. So that was my favorite.
Yeah, but I think that we'll have to get on to those other matches because we're just about done here. So that's all it for Celeste. So we're coming out actually on Jack and Daxter. So do not go anywhere. We have high octane bingo gameplay coming up right now. So I guess that's it for us. Goodbye.
It's been fun, guys.
Exactly.
Hope you enjoyed.
Once again, a huge round of applause for our Celeste runners and commentators. I really enjoyed the run, and I hope the rest of the chat did as well.
Woo!
Thanks for having us. Fuck anime. Have a good one.
Alrighty. Once again, a big shout out and thank you to both the commentator of that match and those who ran in the match. Goodness. We really appreciate the time and effort you put into your runs, as well as selecting Bingothon to be a representative venue for you to play your runs through. We really appreciate that you wanted to take runs to raise some money for doctors. We really appreciate it. So, coming up
Exactly.
next...
It's an amazing run.
Yeah, it was an amazing run. Boop, 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 boop.
But as you wanted to say, the next run is going to be Jack and Daxter, the Prosecutor Legacy.
Yep,
Double bingo.
Ooh, that is right. It's a double bingo. And then following up after that is a Super Mario 63 run.
63, not 64. 64 will be later on.
Mm-hmm. 63. I actually don't even know what 63 is, but we'll run with it. And it's going to be a Lockout bingo. That'll be coming up in the next hour.
Also remember that we have some donation incentives to go on for now. The nearest one is for the multiple generic bingo. For now it's Cinco bingo, but if you donate $29 more, we can upgrade it to a blackout bingo. So we need $50, we have 21 now, so get ready to donate. We also have incentives for The Simpsons Hit and Run, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Nier Automata. So there are still some games nearing that need some love with the donations, so be aware of that.
As well as since I'm still on host here, once we reach the $300 donation mark, I am still happy to run that raffle for a free Discord Nitro subscription or a free random game, which I'll be handing out probably either at the end of this day or at the end of Bingothon after I collect some names. So go ahead and Smash that donation button and earn your chance to win a free month of Discord Nitro or a free game yourself.
By the way, we still have this hosting bingo up above us we can fill, so you can help us with the donations, because there are some goals requiring your effort with the donation.
Oh yeah, that last donation I wanted to with that that impression. I wanted to do that one. That was interesting. With Tommy Wiseau, I kind of forgot his accent, and so while you were reading it, I was actually.
It's kind of particular, especially the "I'm not" kind. This part.
It was from the Disaster Artist. So
the movie was awesome, to be honest. It's a great adventure.
It was a great adventure. I was hoping I could give that little thing a read.
Well, I am a speedrunner. I'm faster.
Excuse you, but I'm Palmy, but I read it better.
You read the ASMR one.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
I wanted to have one for I like because if you don't know, for now I'll have to leave ya. But Eva will be coming back, switching me on the hosting shift. But I will be back later on during GTA Vice City Bingo, I suppose, which is in a couple of hours. And so if you will miss me, then don't, because I will be here later on. We are waiting for Eva right now to come in, and I will make my disappearance. Also, the chat is going for the only emotes goal, I think.
Do it. Do only wall emotes. Wall emotes. Ah, GS home.
Oh, hi, Eva.
Hello.
So Eva is here. I'll be leaving you with her and Palmy, and I will have my exit. See ya, and I hope you have a great marathon. I will be back in a couple of hours.
See ya.
Well, have a good one, Kazdik.
Kajik. No?
Maybe?
I think his name is a bit tricky as far as I remember. He is Polish and these names are kind of tricky to pronounce.
Ah, me being the funny American person I am, it's always entertaining. Oh, now that I reread it, that is... I've learned things.
Still the team. Wow.